from the perfect weather and an amazing hammer ride undertaking laps around Key Biscayne. Here we are in Manhattan in the sleet and the rain. It's actually not too cold. I am still hopeful of getting a ride in, and there is something always very special about arriving in Manhattan. Well, there's loads of places to hire a bike in Manhattan, including these shops owned by Trek. And so I managed to get my hands on a really nice carbon Domane. Looking forward to riding that out in Central Park very first thing tomorrow morning and very first thing Thursday morning. But it is so cold out here, I've had to buy another layer to put over all of this. And I forgot to say, everybody at the Trek shop on the Upper West Side, 72nd Street, were extraordinarily helpful and friendly, as ever. Everybody in the cycling community is super nice. Park Avenue, spectacular. Well, the ride back was spectacular, but it was beyond cold. So I reckon that tomorrow I'm going to have to wear pretty much every single piece of cycling clothing I've brought with me, plus 2 pairs of gloves, because I can barely feel my fingertips. Anyway, turning back to the bike. It's a Trek Domane, which is the endurance version within the overall Trek lineup, and it's a pretty good looking bike, and it was also pretty comfortable to ride back here to the hotel across the very uneven Manhattan streets. This version is a mechanical version, i.e. no electric gear change and group set, and a really cool feature that I was referring to lies beneath this water carrier, because if you flip this little switch, cleverly they've attached the tool for making adjustments to the water carrier, and then inside the frame you've got your spare tyre, spare gas and other levers and bits and bobs, and I guess you could put some food in there. So a really clever design feature, really nicely designed bike, very comfortable. Looking forward to riding it tomorrow. And now back off out with work. 6 AM Manhattan, 1 base layer, 2 jerseys, a jacket, scarf, head warmer, arm warmers, leg warmers. Conclusion? Boy, is training outside in the cold one hell of a malarkey. Look at the size of that beast. One hell of an SUV parked right outside the hotel. Anyway, off up to Central Park now. I've got a brief half hour between work ending and a team dinner, and I'm now in search of some better gloves to protect the fingertips because tomorrow is going to be even colder out in Central Park than it was this morning. Bingo! There's even been snow today. And success. I got some glove liners and a bunch of other things to make cycling outdoors in sub-zero temperatures pleasant. I'm definitely going to need this. Well, it's -8 degrees here in Manhattan, and here is my best attempt in order to kind of see off the cold and enjoy my ride around Central Park. It's layering up in the extreme. Head warmer, check. Robust scarf, check. Base layer under here, check. Jersey, check. Arm warmers, check. Second jersey, check. Wind coat, check. Nice thermal bib shorts, check. Leg warmers, check. 3 pairs of socks, including a ski pair of socks, check. Now in terms of the gloves, I'm using these Hot Chilies, which is a glove line that apparently is as close as you can get to actually electrical gloves. And then on top of those, I should be putting these more woolen gloves that I use for my racing in the UK. And then these Gore-Tex gloves that I just happen to have in my jacket, phew. I'm also going to be wearing this face protector to boot, and I have a second scarf to add into the mix. And as an emergency, I bought these hand warmers that you can kind of fire up at the moment of need and put on top of your hands beneath the glove layers, and hopefully stop the fingertips from freezing to death. And I present to you the finished article. And just to think, it was only 4 days ago that I was taking part in a hammer ride on Key Biscayne in Miami. Halcyon days. Oh. I've had to admit defeat for the time being. I literally can't feel my fingertips or toes. I've just retreated into this threshing co that does amazing muffins and things like that. I'm gonna get a coffee or something, because it's definitely not gonna be working unless it warms up a little bit or these things kick in. Well, it's now 7:30 and time is running out. I'm gonna have my lap or two around Central Park. Not looking forward to it at all, to be honest. The only reason I'm doing it is because I fly home tonight. But on the good news, the little kind of warmer things that I've inserted inside the gloves are now starting to kick in a little bit, and I can feel my fingertips. Still can't really feel my toes, despite 3 pairs of socks, including a ski pair of socks. But I'm gonna give it a go. And you can tell by the shivering and the fact that I'm in a Starbucks that I've had to admit defeat after 2 laps of Central Park. I had in mind at least 8 laps to build a bit of endurance on the outdoor bike, but it definitely wasn't to be. Very pretty, but deeply cold and deeply unpleasant. It's taken me a good, I don't know, 10 minutes just to get the feeling back in my fingertips, and excruciating pins and needles. Still can't feel my toes. And boy, have I learnt a thing or two about how not to layer up to ride outside in sub-zero temperatures. It's kind of funny, but it isn't. I've got to say that whilst I'm not an expert, I thoroughly enjoyed riding this new 2020 Trek Domane. It's extremely fast and agile, but also very comfortable. And it just eats up the really uneven road surfaces in Manhattan, and it was a real pleasure to ride around Central Park. So when I'm back in New York in 2020, I'm definitely going to hire another one. Big thumbs up. And on the subject of reviews, head warmer, thumbs up. Leg warmers, definitely thumbs up. Thermal bibs, thumbs up. 3 jerseys, including the Trek Wind Cheetah, thumbs up. Arm warmers, thumbs up. However, these things, don't bother. Did nothing to save my fingertips. So just dropping the Domane off at Trek on West 72nd Street. And looking to 2020, I'm going to create a lightweight build because I want to take part in the autumn hill climbing season, but also some events in the Alps in 2020. And I enjoyed riding the Domane so much that very much the Trek Domane ultra lightweight climbing bike is very much on the agenda. So just taking a look at it here in a Trek store, and it does feel, you know, very lightweight and nicely put together. And you know, this one's still got the aluminium wheels on it, and I'll be looking to spec something a little bit more carbon and lightweight than that, and definitely something that I'll be giving a try when back in the UK. But big thumbs up for Trek overall. Definitely be back here at West 72nd Street because everyone's treated me so well in the spring of 2020 or the summer, depending on when I'm next back here. And as ever, Andrew at the team at Trek on West 72nd Street were lovely, beyond helpful, but also it was really cool just talking to everybody about all the different things they're doing with their cycling, whether it's crit racing for Andrew or endurance mountain bike riding, stroke other kinds of racing for different members of the store. Very interesting to hear about how they're training, whether it's in the gym or on the bike, and the kind of events that are available right here on the doorstep in Manhattan. I've got a few ideas again for 2020, assuming I'm back here at a time that coordinates with one of the kind of open crits in Central Park. I'm just back from New York and I've literally just completed the 4th full gas winter circuit series race at the London Lee Valley Velo Circuit. Now it was a Cat 2 to 4 race. It's my second Cat 2 to 4 race, and I placed 21st out of the 28 that started. I managed to hang with the bunch the whole way around, which was progress, and also was there for the bunch sprint at the very end, albeit right at the back, obviously. Now overall I'm really happy with the progress because the race was 38 kilometers in length, exactly 1 hour in duration, and when I look at my power profile, it was a hell of a lot more spiky than usual. The peaks and the troughs were much more acute, and by spiking earlier and staying in the bunch and in the draft, I was then able to recuperate a little bit more enthusiastically and therefore bring the heart rate down more successfully. So overall, really decent progress, and I'm also massively looking forward to my next Cat 4 race